Welcome everyone, this is the 10th episode of my Dragon Age Origins Hardcore 100% playthrough. In this episode we're already getting ready for a trip back to Ostagar, so to level up and buy a talent tome, we will finish some side quests in Denerim and Orzammar. My main goal is to have both the bear and the momentum skill before I go back to Ostagar.
Indeed.
Indeed.
Yes.
Momentum will increase our hero's speed significantly, and the bear is gonna give us an extra tank. So let's go to the Civil War on the map. It's a pretty easy quest, especially since you have a lot of AI allies. But of course we're interrupted by a random encounter. Hopefully it's gonna give us some good XP. And it's just a dwarf. Okay, let's move on.
Get your asses off Ben Talman's land. We won't Ben Needle again.
Loghain is the regent. He demands your...
We're not Orlesian lickspittles. We owe no man our allegiance. Leave!
Take their lands by force, men. Regent's orders.
This quest doesn't really require any type of tactics because the enemy soldiers are occupied with your allies. So just pick whoever you want and kill them fast.
Going.
We showed those Loghain upstarts.
We sure did. If more quests would be like this at the beginning, we would have a much easier time with this challenge. So first I'm gonna talk to one of the widows from the Irregulars quest. She's right over there.
Yes. All right. Let me take a look. What? This is terrible. My beloved.
We will need to find 3 more. There's another one here in Denerim, one in the Spoiled Princess Inn, and one in the Redcliffe Chantry.
All men are the work of our Maker's hand. From the lowest...
Those stung with 100 arrows, those suffering from ailments both great and small, his heart was strong, and he moved on.
Those who bring...
So let's start clearing out the city of the bandits. Hopefully that will level us up. Sadly I can only go to 2 places, because if I would go for a 3rd one and then I would get a random encounter, that could crash my game. This is probably the easiest gang, but I would still want them to aggro the wolf first.
Let's wipe them out quickly. Where do I go?
There is another widow.
Yes. All right, let me take a look. No, I can't believe this. I won't.
And up here is another door for the blood warning quest for the collective. We only need to find one more for this quest. There is the lair of Gak's gang. As part of the challenge we have to kill him, but we can't visit him yet. So we arrived at the second gang's territory. There are a lot of them, so this will require a little bit of positioning. I try to put Morrigan and Leliana far away from the fight, but I will make sure that they have clear line of sight on the targets.
Alistair here.
Hopefully Alistair and Wolfie will hold the line, while Morrigan can heal them. I will just try my best to deal as much damage as I can. And we're done. Let's just quickly loot the bodies, and since the last door for the blood warning quest is also here, we're gonna put a mark on that as well.
Oh, right. Yes. Hmm? Oh, right.
Now I will turn in the blood warning quest, and since we're so close to leveling up, we'll head straight to the Frostback Mountains afterwards.
Magic exists to serve man and never to rule.
The client is very pleased. Come back soon.
I was getting to that part.
Before we go to Orzammar, we're gonna talk to Farron. When we ask about Stan's sword, the best thing is to not have Stan in the party. That way we can extort the guy and he's gonna give us 3 gold.
Welcome back. Care to see the finest selection of previously owned armor and weaponry in Thedas? Oh, you've heard of me. What have you heard? And just so you know, some of my competitors have been trying to besmirch my sterling reputation. Pillage is such a harsh word, friend. I don't pillage anything. I'm a salvager. I rescue quality-made goods from rust and neglect, a saviour to abandoned equipment. Canary? I'm afraid I don't know the word. Oh, them. Well, I have a few shields here. I had one sword, but I sold it already. If I'd known he was still breathing, I would have used a knife. I mean, I'd have been more careful. Redcliffe. The guy who bought it lives in Redcliffe. He's a collector. A dwarf named Dwin, I think. I don't want any trouble. If you see that giant, tell him I don't have it, would you? I don't, I swear. 3? I call it highway robbery, but I'd be smearing the good name of highwaymen everywhere. Fine. Here's your blood money. Take it and go.
I think it's about time for me to pick up the last nug. Giving it to the guy will probably level me up.
Wrangler I've ever seen, but there's more out there.
Very good. Now let's get the tome so we can have both the bear and momentum.
Have you seen my lunch? It's a piece of lichen bread with a spread of old cheese and shredded dried meat. I'm only asking because you never know who's going to get hungry. Right. Best in the trade, you know. I worked the ore myself.
See how much cheaper that is than what Boran is selling us? Freaking dwarf is trying to rip us off. Naturally 3 goes on Dex. And we get Summon Bear and Momentum. Since the last time we were here, we left a few quests open, so we're just gonna finish them. First I'm gonna talk to Zerlinda in Dusttown and make sure her father accepts them back. Then I'm gonna go to the Provings to get the stolen tome back and give it to the Shaperit.
Spare a bit for the needy? Please. It's not for me, it's for my child. Have you a coin to spare, milady? It's for my son. He's sick. He hasn't any clean clothes to wear or anything to eat today. Neither have I.
A question I ask every day. He was eager enough for a daughter who would bring him into the mining caste. But since the boy was born, I've not seen nose or heel of the lout. And me alone on the street, forbidden to return to my family unless I...
But no, I can't bear to even think of it.
My name is Erlinda. I wasn't always like this. I was born to a mining caste family. We weren't wealthy, but I never went hungry before. Now it's all gone, and it's my own fault. Ancestors curse me, but there's nothing I can do to set it right. My son's father is casteless, as is he. I used to be a miner, but my parents stripped my caste and refused to accept me back.
Unless I agree to abandon the child in the deep roads and pretend I never bore him.
In Orzammar, lineage is traced through the child's same-sex parent. Had my baby been a girl, she would have been a miner like me. But as a boy, my son is considered tainted forever by his father's seed. Yes, I can become casteless with him, which is what I've done. Others have raised children like this, right? Begging for change, sleeping in doorways?
You would do that? But why?
Then I cannot offer enough gratitude. But I warn you, my father is a stiff-necked man. His name is Ordell, and he's usually at Tapster's in the evening. I do not think he will listen to you. But I will wait anxiously to see if you can do what you promised.
What are you looking at, stranger? I could be. What business is it of yours? I have no daughter. Could be you met a casteless whore claiming she was once mine.
Oh, I'm the monster, not the casteless wretch that filled my daughter with his brat. I've got a family and a reputation to protect. I'm not letting one stupid girl drag us all down.
What? You think she'd die just to keep that thing? She knows what she has to do to come home. I never wanted her gone. Just the little cur. Can't she see she'd have a better life if she got rid of it?
Look, just tell her... We never meant to hurt her. It just seemed best that...
Oh, just tell her to come home. Her mother and I are waiting for her.
And since we are in the tavern, we might as well try that famous dwarven ale.
Atrust Vala, stranger. You must be the Grey Warden we heard about. Welcome to Tapster's. I'm Cora, your hostess. How may I serve you? With 52 types of ale, 17 types of mead, and a dozen imported wines, we should be able to serve your needs. What do you have? I recommend a Brachian brew. She has a heavy head and a deep, rich taste. 3 silvers gives you a pint. A Brachian brew never fails to hit the spot. Vartag Gavorn certainly owes Prince Balin. From a minor house to a prince's right-hand man. He'd do anything Balin asked him. Well, I have other customers to see too. If you need anything else, just call me over.
Oh, I was just asking for a drink, but I got some juicy gossip as well. I guess we can talk to Vartag later.
You're back. I thought you weren't coming. What did he say? Both of us? I don't believe he said that. I've never heard him refer to my son as anything but trash. He calls him it. But maybe Mother convinced him. Or you did. Oh, my friend. I cannot thank you enough. If this were a story, my son would grow to manhood and pledge himself as a knight in your service. When he grows up, I will send him to you. I promise.
And I'm off.
Maker, turn his gaze on you.
Maker preserve you.
Welcome to what will soon be Orzammar's first chantry. The chant of light will reach all corners of the world. We will never forget who made this possible. I will, see what I can do.
So now we're going after the thugs who got the tome from the thief. Two of them have a massive great axe, so I'll need some distraction, which is why this is a perfect place to introduce the bear. Fighting two-handed warriors with the rogue is always annoying because they usually have Indomitable, which makes them immune to stun. On top of that, they love using Pummel Strike, which can't miss, and it will knock you on the floor. When you fight weapon and shield guys, always check if they have the shield expertise passive, because that makes your normal backstabs useless against them. So if you have a hard time landing a backstab, they have it. You need to switch to dual striking.
This deal was all their making, Warden. Technically, I haven't done anything wrong. We have no business. Unless you want to make a few coins. Not that I'm suggesting anything. But you're holding the prize now. Yes, well, I'll keep my nose clean until you're long gone. How about that? I'm just a businessman. I merely exploit opportunities. I won't get in your way.
Yes.
Lord Balin is a bad, bad man.
Lord Haramont is a weak man, and he will be a weak king.
You found it. Warden, you have my gratitude. You're a bright spot in an otherwise dark time. At least someone is willing to stand up for tradition. Thank you again.
Okay, you pat us on the back so hard it feels like you kicked us in the nuts. But at least we finished the quest. So let's just look around in the palace. There are some chests there that I want Leliana to open. If we head straight here, a bunch of thieves will appear, so I'm gonna summon the bear. As usual, I will send him ahead so that he could trigger them.
Desperate times drive people to strange things.
And I'm off. Oh, right. Yes. Going. Yes.
Nope, we're not touching that vial. At least not yet.
Raise your voice in favor of Lord Balin. He will bring us change and prosperity.
So let's just talk to Vartag Gavorn and see what he has to say.
Warden, it is always a blessing for Orzammar to host your order. I am Vartag Gavorn, top advisor to our good Prince Balin. What news do you bring? Yes, the treaty. I've seen it in the Shaper's libraries. Now, the difficulty is that the treaty only compels our king, and we are sadly lacking one of those right now. No one wishes this fight over more than Balin. But while it rages, Orzammar can spare no one to combat what may or may not be a new blight. I believe you, but what are we to do? If Balin followed his heart and sent his men to aid you, Harrowmont would steal his throne. We would defeat the Blight, and return to find our homeland devastated by an incompetent tyrant. There might be a way, if you demonstrate to Balin that you owe Harrowmont no fealty. Harrowmont has engaged in a campaign of bribery and coercion to ensure that every house serves him. But if a neutral party, a stranger, were to approach certain key members, perhaps with irrefutable evidence of Harrowmont's deception, I'm certain my Lord Prince would show his gratitude. Harrowmont promised the same portion of his estate to two different Deshers, Lady Dace and Lord Helmy. Harrowmont can't possibly grant it to both of them, but they won't find out until after the vote is cast. I have copies of the promissory notes Harrowmont gave each of them. Once they see those, they should both reconsider their votes. That's not important. If they ask, say you found them while searching the Shaper's libraries for your treaty. Normally, the Shapers would handle this sort of accusation. They are the scholars who manage our laws, histories, and genealogies. They are the final arbiters of all disputes in Orzammar. Unfortunately, the Shaper of Memories is the most important among them, and his grandfather was Lord Harrowmont's aunt's first cousin. Obviously, we cannot expect him to offer an unbiased opinion. I guess I can't expect you surfacers to understand the importance of family in Orzammar. The Shaper is biased, and if you want Prince Balin's help, you'll have to show where your loyalties lie. Will you do it? Lady Dace doesn't leave the quarter much, but Lord Helmy's adventurous, likes to spend his time at Tapster's in the Commons. Remember, don't tell them you got these papers from me. You learned of them and drew your own conclusions.
He sounds like a completely moral person with no ulterior motives. But you know what? Maybe we should just check what the Shaper says about these papers.
Ah, you return, Warden. Is there more you would know from Orzammar's memories? These are Harrowmont lands promised here. But these are not the deals we approved at the Shaperate. Where did you get these? Had he scripted these counterfeits? This is a serious crime. I will have the Ministry of Lands begin an investigation into the Gavorns immediately. Not entirely. There were two promised deals, but their terms differed significantly from what is presented here. It appears the scripter altered the dates and locations of the agreements to make them identical. The Gavorn family is a minor one, founded when a daughter of the Ferender house married down to a warrior caste man. Her brother died, leaving her family heirless. So the Assembly granted him a new family name and allowed him to adopt his daughter's children as heirs. Vartag Gavorn is on record asking the Assembly to bar Harrowmont from King Endrin's sick room. He is a vocal supporter of Prince Balin. The prince consulted me before his father died. He wanted to know about King Bimo, the last king to rule during a blight. I told him Bimo made many changes during his rule. The Assembly was even disbanded for a 2-year period. Bimo declared that, in times of war, the warrior caste answered directly to the king, and all voting was suspended. Balin seemed quite interested. He is a kinsman, yes. If you count to the 6th degree of remove, I am related to every noble lineage still represented in Orzammar. I can even trace my descendant directly to House Sagmund, which lost its tie to the Darkspawn 13 generations ago. The Shaprit do not vote. We simply record history as it happens. I cannot speak my opinions. History can be changed with a careless word. You are an outsider, Warden, but not outside the law. I hope you will not do anything to challenge the stability of Orzammar.
Oh, so the papers are forged. Well, let's see what you have to say about that, Wartag.
Well, have you found Lady Dace and Lord Helmy? Forged? Well, naturally they're forged. There is no legal way for Harriman to sell the same land twice over, is there? You want to know how the game is played? I wrote the papers and left a sizable fee with the registry office to back them. But if you think figuring it out gets you off the line, you don't understand how this works. I'm asking for a show of loyalty, so exactly how much truth is involved shouldn't matter in the slightest. Now, where does your allegiance lie, Warden? Be careful about so boldly declaring yourself the prince's enemy.
Oh, the little Wartag was outsmarted. Your prince's ass will never touch that throne. Wait, what are you doing, Leliana? Oh, so she's stealing from him. I noticed that about Leliana. She only steals from people who she doesn't like. Well, honestly, I can't blame her. And that has nothing to do with me. I'm still a moral character. That stealing thing, that's her business. Well, I do wish you would fail less, Leliana. Because Wartag has the champion shield, which would be a pretty substantial upgrade over Alistair's current shield. But I guess Leliana still needs some practice. Maybe later we can find other people who she doesn't like.
Lord Harrimont is a weak man, and he'll be a weak. Lord Balin is a bad man.
I'm off.
I haven't eaten in days.
I've told you what I know. If you'll excuse me, I've had quite enough stress over this. Oh, certainly.
Although right now it's still a bit expensive, but later on we definitely want the flesh rot recipe from Farron, because it has the highest chance for stun out of all the poisons in the game. Okay, let's go back to the camp.
Oh, why, you little... Me harassing your dog? I should say it's the other way round. Your furry friend here took offense at me getting near his food. He snapped at me, look. Don't you think I don't know it? Sometimes I forget that he's a war dog. That'll teach me. I once heard a really old legend about how the Hound warriors in the days of the old tribes would feed their Mabari the flesh of the vanquished. Well, that's what I heard anyway. It would sometimes be human flesh. Oh, like you can tell the difference. For all you know, maybe you've already been fed something. Someone. Hey!
Look at what your fool dog placed in my pack. A putrid, half-eaten hare is not something a woman wants to find in her unmentionables. I think I have enough meat where it counts, and I certainly don't need it in my pack. The dirty mongrel can have this back. There. And tell him not to do it again. I just did. I don't want it, you worthless fur bag. Oh, he's just trying to be manipulative, I can tell. I do it too.
You are a true warrior and worthy of respect.
Something on your mind? Of course. Have you seen the uniform? It's not only stylish, but well made. I'm a sucker for good tailoring. I keep it hidden under my pillow. Sometimes I'll take it out just so I can hug it fondly and remember the good old days. Brings a tear to the eyes, you know. Oh, you know, between all the guilt and the hours spent in solemn prayer, any good Templar or priest is just bursting to tell a few good jokes when the opportunity arises. You don't really want to know about my being a Templar, do you? It's really quite boring. You know, I like the way you think. But I guess if you're really curious, there's no harm in obliging. I have a couple of interesting-looking moles I can show you later, too, if you're interested. The truth of the matter is that I did hate going to the monastery. The initiates from poor families thought I put on airs, while the noble ones called me a bastard and ignored me. I felt like Al-Eamon had cast me off, unwanted, and I was determined to be bitter. But I took some solace in the training itself, I guess. I was actually quite good at it. The education, mostly, but also the discipline. You need to have a disciplined mind in order to use the abilities we have. It was difficult, but rewarding. I never really felt at home anywhere, though, until I joined the Grey Wardens. And Duncan felt my Templar abilities might be useful for when we encountered Darkspawn magic, so I kept it up. What about you? Do you have anywhere you consider home? must miss them a great deal. Duncan and the Grey Wardens are the closest I ever got to that kind of family. We won't always be traveling like this, you know. Once the war is over, once the Blight is... well, a time will come when we'll have to think about having a real home again. Though that seems like a far ways off. And I suppose the Grey Wardens are gone for good, either way. I suppose you're right. We can create new Grey Wardens, but we'll never get back those we lost. I wonder if it would ever feel the same. Anyhow, now I've sidetracked us. We'd better get back to what we're supposed to be doing right now.
I must say that traveling with you has opened my eyes to how wrong some are about the Dalish. You are not at all savage, and I've not seen you snatch away women and children without provocation. If my people were more open to interacting with yours, we could do away with such misperceptions. I hear many city folk talk about how wonderful it must be to live simpler lives, close to the earth. They could learn from the Dalish. How marvelous that must be. I have met very few elves, and those that I have met were pledged to the service of Orlesian nobles. Elven servants are well compensated for their services. Some of them live richer lives than humans. A well-trained elven servant is highly valued in Orlais. They are nimble and dexterous, and many people find them pleasing to look at. No, I did not mean it that way. Oh, my words were clumsily chosen. I did not mean to offend. I am sorry. Thank you. You have given me a lot to think about. Have I ever told you I really like the way you wear your hair? It's very nice, and it suits you. Simple. Not like the elaborate hairstyles we wore in Orlais. They involved flowers, ribbons, jewels. One year, feathers were all the rage, and Lady Elise decided she needed to outdo everyone else, and actually wore live songbirds in her voluminous hair. The chirping was quite charming for a while, but you must realize, terrified little birdies often have loose bowels. Yes, you can imagine what she looked like by the end of the evening. But I was trying to say something nice to you, wasn't I? Oh, forgive me. My mind wanders so. It's just that I feel so comfortable talking to you, like I could say anything and you wouldn't judge me. You see? You play along with me. Not many will do that. I haven't felt this close to anyone in a long time. I really enjoy your company. And what would you do if I said I do? Very much so, in fact. Huh? You must do that then. Perhaps later when I'm not prepared for it. Surprise me. Come then, let's get going. If I recall correctly, you have some important earth-shattering business to attend to.
You and your friends are formidable folk, indeed. It's good to have you along on the road. I'm sure you'll be pleased with the goods my boy and I have collected, and with your discount.
Okay, I bought some magic resistance runes because in the next episode I will go back to Ostagar and there are a lot of emissaries there, so I need all the magic resistance I can get. The DLC has a lot of dangerous sections, but I do feel like I'm ready to go back. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will create a hard save here, and I hope we see each other again back in Ostagar.